Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Podlingo. I'm Mark, a life coach and author. Today, we are talking about a very important topic: why most people fail and how you can actually win in 2026. I am joined by Sarah, a successful small business owner. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here. As someone running a business, I see people struggle with these ideas every day. Success literature tells us a lot, but putting it into practice is the hard part.
Exactly. In 2026, the world is moving very fast. We have so much information, yet many people feel stuck. Sarah, in your industry, what does failure look like for most people starting out?
Well, many people think failure is a big disaster, but usually it's just staying in the same place. People have a great idea for a business, like my bakery, but they never start because they're afraid of making mistakes. They read all the books, but they don't take the first step.
That is a great point. From my experience in the field of coaching, I call this the knowledge trap. People learn and learn, but they don't do. They think that by reading success literature, they're winning, but winning requires movement.
That aligns with what we see in our industry. Many people want the perfect plan before they bake their first cake, but perfection doesn't exist at the start.
Right. So, for our listeners today, let's define the problem clearly. Failure in 2026 isn't just losing, it's the choice to stay comfortable instead of growing.
I agree. To win, we first have to understand why we are stopping ourselves.
Now that we've defined the problem, let's talk about why it happens. Sarah, you mentioned people waiting for the perfect plan. In success literature, we often call this analysis paralysis. Have you seen this in your own journey?
Oh, definitely. When I first started my online bakery, I spent months looking for the perfect flour and the perfect website design. I was so busy analyzing every detail that I didn't sell a single cupcake for 3 months. I was trapped in my own head.
That's a classic trap. At a B1 level of English, we can say you were overthinking. People often use planning as a way to avoid the fear of failing. If you are still planning, you haven't failed yet, right? But you also haven't won.
Exactly. Another trap I see is the comparison trap. Especially in 2026 with social media, we see everyone else's winning moments. It makes our own small progress feel like failure.
That is very true. From my experience in the field, I've noticed that people compare their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Success literature like Atomic Habits teaches us that small wins are more important than big jumps. But many people ignore this. They want the big jump immediately.
And when the big jump doesn't happen in the first week, they quit. They think, I'm not lucky, or this isn't for me.
Right. They focus on the result instead of the system. In our industry, we say fall in love with the process, not just the goal. If you only love the goal, you will be unhappy 99% of the time.
That makes so much sense. To win, you have to survive the boring parts where nothing seems to be happening.
We've talked about the traps, but now let's talk about the solution. To win, you need to change how you think. In success literature, we often talk about the growth mindset. Sarah, have you heard of this?
Yes, I have. It's the idea that we can learn from our mistakes instead of feeling bad about them. In my bakery, I had to learn this the hard way. When a recipe failed, I used to think I am a bad baker.
That is what we call a fixed mindset. You think your skills are set in stone. But a growth mindset means you think this recipe didn't work yet, but I can improve it.
Exactly. Now when I burn a batch of cookies, I don't see it as a failure. I see it as data. I learned that the oven was too hot or the timer was wrong. It's a lesson, not a disaster.
That is a perfect example. In 2026, things change so fast. New apps, new AI tools, new ways of working. If you have a fixed mindset, you will feel overwhelmed. But if you have a growth mindset, you see every change as an opportunity to learn something new.
That aligns with what I see in my industry. The business owners who win are the ones who aren't afraid to say, I don't know how to do this yet, but I will find out.
From my experience in the field, I tell my clients, failure is just feedback. It is the world telling you to try a different way. If you change your mindset, you stop fearing failure, and that is when you actually start winning.
So it's not about being born smart or lucky, it's about being willing to be a beginner over and over again.
Precisely. Winning starts in the mind before it shows up in your bank account or your business. We've talked about mindset, but mindset without action is just a dream. In success literature, like the book Atomic Habits, the focus is on systems. Sarah, how do you stay disciplined when you don't feel motivated?
That is a great question, Mark. Motivation is like the weather. It changes every day. Some mornings I wake up and I don't want to bake 200 loaves of bread, but I have a routine. I don't think about it. I just do the first small step.
This is what we call micro habits. Instead of thinking about the 200 loaves, you probably just think about putting on your apron, right?
Exactly. Once the apron is on, I'm in work mode. In my business, I also use a priority list. I pick 3 important things to do every day. If I do those 3, I am winning.
From my experience in the field, most people fail because they try to change everything at once. They want to wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, read a book, and start a business all in one day. By Tuesday, they're exhausted and they quit.
I've been there. It's much better to do one small thing consistently. In 2026, we have so many digital tools to help us, but the basic rule is the same. Consistency beats intensity.
That is a powerful phrase. Consistency beats intensity. To win, you need to show up even on the days you feel tired. In success literature, this is often called the compound effect. Small actions added together over time create huge results.
It's like saving money. A few dollars every day doesn't look like much, but after a year, it's a lot. My bakery grew because I posted one photo on social media every single day for a year. Not 10 photos in one day, then nothing for a month.
That aligns with what we see in every industry. Winners build a system that makes success automatic.
So the secret isn't a secret weapon. It's just a simple daily habit.
We are living in 2026, and the rules of success have changed slightly because of technology. Sarah, how has your business adapted to the world today?
It's very different now than it was even a few years ago. I use AI tools to help me manage my inventory and predict which cakes will be popular next month. In 2026, you can't just work hard, you have to work smart with the tools we have.
That is a very important point. In the past, success literature talked about grit and hustle. While those are still important, today's winner must be adaptable. If a new technology comes out, you shouldn't be afraid of it. You should ask, how can this help me?
Exactly. I see some business owners who refuse to use new digital tools because they think it's too complicated. But while they're struggling with old methods, others are moving ahead. To win in 2026, you have to be a lifelong student.
From my experience in the field, the biggest risk today is obsolescence. That's a big word for becoming out of date. If you stop learning, you stop winning. Whether it's learning a new language, a new software, or a new way to communicate, staying curious is your best strategy.
That aligns with what I believe. I spend at least 30 minutes every evening reading about new trends in food technology. It keeps me ahead of the competition.
So the success formula for 2026 is mindset plus habits plus adaptability. If you have these 3, failure is only a temporary stop on your way to winning.
It's an exciting time to be an entrepreneur, as long as you are willing to keep moving forward.
We are coming to the end of our discussion today. We've covered a lot. We talked about the traps of overthinking, the importance of a growth mindset, the power of micro habits, and staying adaptable in 2026.
It was a great conversation, Mark. If I could give one final piece of advice to the listeners, it would be this. Don't wait until you feel ready. You learn the most by doing. Even if you are a B1 English learner or a new business owner, your failures are just your teachers.
That is so true, Sarah. From my experience in the field, the difference between those who fail and those who win isn't talent, it is persistence. Winners are just failures who didn't stop.
Exactly. So for everyone listening, pick one small habit today, just one, and do it every day this week. That is how you start winning.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah. Your insights from the bakery business were very helpful.
It was my pleasure, Mark. Thank you.
And thank you to our listeners. Remember, success in 2026 is a journey, not a destination. Keep learning, keep growing, and we will see you in the next episode of Podlingo.